Hello, I'm Stephen Boyle from Easons.com and I'm delighted to welcome, or shall I say welcome back, Fionnuala Kearney. Last time you were here, Fionnuala, it was for your book You, Me and Other People, and this time you're here with The Day I Lost You, which has just been published by HarperCollins. Welcome back.
My book 2 baby, I
There
know,
you go.
can't quite believe it.
Tell us a little bit about The Day I Lost You.
Okay, The Day I Lost You, it's a book very close to my heart actually. It's tells the story of primarily Anna, or rather Jess, who is a 48-year-old lady with a daughter, Anna, of 25. And the book starts where it's obvious that Anna has gone missing in an avalanche accident in France. And there then follows, this whole limbo period of whether Jess knows, whether her daughter is living or dying. And so Jess is the main part, and then there's also a point of view from Theo, who is her best platonic friend. Okay. And actually it just so happens that at this one point in both their lives, for completely different reasons, their lives are disintegrating. Mm-hmm. Jess for the reason I've just said, mm-hmm. and Theo's marriage has just fallen apart when his wife has announced she's in love with another man. So for different reasons they're having to navigate completely new lives. Yeah. And then the third point of view is we hear from Anna, who is the missing daughter, mm-hmm. and we hear from her via blog posts in the book. So we learn a lot about her in this manner. Yeah. So it's a slightly unusual device, but really exciting and enjoyable to write actually.
Because when you dig into the book, you see that it is written from a number of, so there's alternating chapters with
exactly.
the different voices. What are the challenges when you're writing a book in that respect?
I think the main one is, to try and distinguish the three voices, mm-hmm. and obviously in this particular case there's two female voices, both very different people. One is, a lady of 48 and the other is a very young girl of 24. And trying to distinguish them both as individual people and get that across on the page is sometimes a challenge. Mm-hmm. And then also obviously Theo being a guy, to write from the male point of view. Mm-hmm. I did it in You, Me and Other People, wrote from an older man's point of view, and again it was another challenge with Theo, but actually I really love writing in the man's head.
There you go. Sometimes it's not something that you see very often in fiction, where you have a platonic friendship yes. between men and women. Is that it's kind of a different angle to come from, I think.
Well, the book is, it's about sort of universal themes like grief and loss and things like that are covered in it, mm-hmm. but it's predominantly about love actually. And I really wanted to explore different relationships, different loving relationships. So we have obviously the mother-daughter relationship is deeply explored. There is a friendship relationship, a platonic relationship between Theo and Jess, mm-hmm. as two older people who have been friends for a very long time. There is a will they, won't they question yes. through the book. And then obviously there's a relationship where, in fact, Jess is a very young grandmother, so there's another relationship there. And they're all loving relationships. Sibling love is explored. Yeah. So fundamentally it's a book about love. I've forgotten your question.
You got it banging on, so don't worry about that. It's, as you said, it's your second book.
It is.
How different was the experience of writing your second book than it was to writing your first?
Completely different experience. First of all, you're very aware, or at least I was, that I'm writing to contract. So therefore, I am. There's time issues, time deadlines to consider that you don't have when you're writing a debut. Writing in contract, you just don't have that luxury. So that's a slight pressure. But then, on the other side of it, it's balanced out that it's not as solitary mm-hmm. An experience at all, in that I have now an editorial team to work into. I have an agent that I can call if I'm having a few queries or whatever. So it's not as solitary experience, okay. but definitely a slightly more pressured one time-wise. But that's not a bad thing either. Certainly for me, I always work better when I'm being told, work to that deadline. Exactly. Yeah. Speaking
of timelines and deadlines, what are you working on next?
So I'm contracted with HarperCollins, very luckily, for 3 books. This is my second, The Day I Lost You, and so I'm currently writing the third. I won't tell you the working title, okay. but it's a working title I hope I'm allowed to keep, because I really like it. Loving writing book 3. Book 3 again is very different, because I've made it a much more condensed and almost slightly claustrophobic affair, because it's told over a period of 5 days. and I'm writing it from 3 points of view, 2 of which are male.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I've set myself a huge challenge there, but I'm really loving writing it actually. And then this is, well, so far the last book in contract, so fingers crossed that it will continue, but at this point in time, it's my last book.
Fantastic. And we know that you love to write, but we know that you also love to read. So what have you got beside your bedside table at the moment?
Right, beside my bedside table at the moment I have a pile, as always, but the one I've just finished is a book by Sam Baker, and it was called The Woman Who Ran, so thriller-esque book, very good actually.
Fantastic.
Yeah, finished that on the plane the other night on the way over, so that's good. But what's next? I want to read Maggie O'Farrell's new book, trying desperately to get my hands on that one.
Coming out in May.
I think it's out in May.
Yeah.
What's it called? Something.
The End of the Fair or
Is
something.
this
Something
the
along
place?
those
Is
lines.
this the place?
Place.
This is the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's definitely on my wanna read list.
Fantastic. Well, in the meantime, The Day I Lost You has just been released by HarperCollins. It's available in all Eason stores and at Eason Online. Fionnuala, thank you so much for coming back to see us.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
No problem. See you again soon.